So I'm going to go over today's trades that were taken on Thursday, the 9th of April, 2026. These are my futures trades, and I took them during the London session. I took three trades in total, okay, across multiple accounts. I try not to take all the trades on the same account, obviously, like by trade copy, and I try and do a few on each, just so that I can split the risk across all the accounts and make sure that I actually continuously stay consistent with the payouts. So this is the first trade I took. Okay, so as you can see, we just came into London, and this may be why obviously I got wrecked because there was no sort of direction. But nevertheless, the trade was still a good trade in my opinion. So we was coming up here bullish. We was a little bit sideways prior to that. So through Asia and prior to London session, was a little bit sideways. We have this move down and it started to push up. Okay, and even here we're still pushing up. We push up, tag the level, price reacts down. Okay, so at this moment in time, when I woke up and looked at the charts, I was thinking we may be able to get a short, but I wasn't too keen on it here. Okay, so just because I wanted to see if this level held or got pushed through. Okay, then we've seen this massive push up at the start of London. So the influx of London traders, we pushed up and we pushed through quite aggressively, closing above this high. So my idea was if we tap back on the level, my limit order would be set and we'll just push off and get a 1.5R. It's all I target. And yeah, that didn't really play out. It bounced off the level. It looked like it was going to go. And then it just absolutely wrecked me. Okay. That's trade one. We then have trade two. Okay. As you can see here, obviously this is the same bit of PA. Price starts to push down. I initially really wanted to try and get a trade here or this to pull back here, but it didn't happen. So I just sort of entered once we hit this little fair value gap here. Now, it's not, for me, it's not A plus because we're a little bit further away from the level. Okay. And we couldn't actually get 1.5R out before this next level was tagged. But being on the back of a loss and a little bit of impulsiveness at the start of the session, I wanted to enter something on the evals because I didn't take it on the first trade. So the aim was to just get into this trade based on eval accounts only, and that's exactly what I done. Okay, so we took this trade, pushed down. Idea being once we get to previous day's val, that will go break even, and that's exactly what we done in the trade. Okay, and as you can see here, this is what the trade done. Okay, so we lingered a little bit, had an initial push, moved back up. Again, giving enough room in this trade that if we broke this high again, I would have looked for longs. Okay, so we were just going to give it enough room to breathe on the level. Could have gone here realistically if you really wanted to be aggressive, but for me that wasn't the case. I just wanted to put it here and leave it, and that was that. So yeah, so that was one winning trade there. Okay, and that was I took that on eval accounts, and I'll show my P&L after. And then I took this trade here, which was an A plus setup for me on all my live accounts. Okay, and the reason this is an A plus setup, I'll go into more detail when I go onto the charts in a second. But we come back, we retest, and we push away nice and fast. Okay, we have the movement in the direction. We already know we pushed off this point of control. Sellers were in control, pushing lower, and then obviously just following the direction of the market. Okay, so if we go on to the chart, obviously that's the first trade as I showed there and explained. Wasn't really much we could do with that. The second trade, like I said, I took about here roughly. May not be perfectly on the dot. Obviously, this is the 1 minute time frame. And then the third trade, this was the one that was more consistent. I think it was taken from around there. If I just quickly check. Yeah, it was about that candle off that high. It might even have been off the wick. We'll just go off that wick because I think that is where I actually got in. It was around about here anyways. Oh, why did it move? Yeah. So it was about there. Okay. We let that trade win first, so it must have actually been here. Yeah. Okay, so that was the three trades that we took. Okay, so this is in the live markets, obviously, as we're lingering around the level now. Obviously, now we're out of London session. Doesn't shock me that we ain't really pushed much further down at this point, and we haven't really gone through it. But this setup here is the one I want to look at more. Okay, obviously we got -1, a +1.5, and then this is the setup that I want to just go into detail for people that are still trying to learn this strategy and people that want to know how I trade it and why I take the setups I take. Okay, like I said, this wasn't a great setup because it was right at the start of the session. This definitely wasn't a top tier setup. It was a good setup regarding my stop and my TP. But obviously we could have bounced off this level and continued up, like, so you would have probably got wrecked. Like here, if price came down and went like that, we'd have got wrecked. So that's why it wasn't an A or an A plus setup. But this here is an A plus setup, and the reason for that is, as you can see, obviously we retest this level once, then we tried to go long, got wrecked, came down. So for me, at this point, I'm forming a bias towards the downside. As I said, I took this on an eval, and then this move happened here, so I was in profit. As I said, I did go break even on the evals at this point once we pushed through. And once we seen this push through here, this candle really come through the level, I wanted to retest this level here and take an entry. It didn't do that just here. Okay, so I thought I was going to miss the move, and then we had this little gap, so I just took it off of that, and then obviously it was above this wick as well, so I took it off there. Again, you could have put your stops here. It shouldn't really go above it if you're bearish, but you can't always be super aggressive. And the fact that I was already taking a loss over here on a live account, I just wanted to give a little bit of extra breathing room, so I just gave it these two little highs here, put it just there. Expecting the price to really push quite aggressively down, which it did. And yeah, that's really it, to be honest. And as you can see, actually, this fair value gap did hold. So the fair value gap on the level would have been the ideal situation to get the trade from. So like that, obviously, if I wasn't down 1% on the day, I most likely would have took that trade there, to be honest. That would have been my setup. But as I was already down 1%, I wanted to just make sure I was in a trade that was a lot more safe. And for me, this is more safe. But the PA was A plus for me on this trade. So that's that for the chart work. As we can go over here on the futures, this is my futures journal. As you can see, obviously, it's my profit and loss over the last 9 weeks. And this is my trade today. So this is the amounts that we made. So we made 441 on one account, 153.75 on another, and 192 on another Lucid. We got a couple payouts coming from them. And today's total profit was £786.75, or $85.75 even. And then on my evals, we totaled 4.5k. Okay, so nice and easy. These two accounts were copy traded. This account was taken on its own afterwards on a separate setup. Well, not separate setup, but this was taken on this trade here, whereas the other evals were taken on this one, as you can see, and as you can see here. So yeah, that's it really. So total profit on the day, if you want to include all of the profits of this and this, we're running about 5.3k roughly, which is not a bad day really at the end of the day when you start thinking about how much that can be when you're totaling, multiple six-figure trading accounts or into the seven-figure amount of trading accounts. Yes, not bad. It's a good it's a good strategy and it works really well. So yeah, total profit on the day in regards to R is 2, so I'm 2R up. And this week in total, we're 5.6R up, 5.67R up, which is really good considering it's actually been really choppy. So yeah, that's it really. If you want to learn how to trade like this, I can recommend the guy who taught me this strategy, or you can just at me and I can try and help you out with it. And yeah, just go from there. But really easy, really nice day, and totaling over $5.3 thousand.